What up, is Marcus Dynasty? Well, that's going to be DeAndre Swift signed jersey. We'll be giving away when we hit 2,000. So subscribe if you do like the video. We're doing the Dynasty biggest sells right now. And so we're going to go through some running backs, a couple wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends, because it's important to figure out who do we need to sell before the NFL draft. What players are we kind of panicking on? And so the first one we're going to start off with, and this is, I want you to hear me out. I know this is going to sound harsh right off the bat, because when I say sell A.J. Brown, you might go, oh, turn off the video. But A.J. Brown is ranked 4th. And so my argument right now is, how can you get any higher? You have J.J., you have Chase, and you have CeeDee Lamb. Then you have A.J. Brown, your 4th ranked wide receiver. There is no room for A.J. Brown to go higher. There just isn't. There's not a scenario that is going to put him above one of those 3 players unless they have an absolutely catastrophic injury. We look at where Devontae Smith is being ranked into the late teens, 17, 19 in different various sources. A.J. Brown is being sold for Amon-Ra St. Brown plus, Higgins plus, Tyreek Hill plus, Garrett Wilson plus, will probably be sold for Jackson Smith and Jigma plus a couple picks. I am in the mode of, yes, Jalen Hurts love A.J. Brown. He loved him, but he also loved Devontae Smith and Devontae Smith started picking it up after the first few weeks, which were kind of iffy for him. And so I am selling A.J. Brown because he's also an injury-prone wide receiver, a wide receiver that's had some knee issues in the past. So there is no guarantee that A.J. Brown is going to be a receiver that's going to make it to his young 30s or anything like that. And so A.J. Brown, yes, he's still probably going to have 3-4 great years left in him. But if I'm able to pivot to get another wide receiver that I feel like is going to be in the same category in 12 months, plus something else, like an Amon-Ra plus, a Higgins plus, a Hill plus, a Garrett Wilson plus. And the plus, I want it to be something of significance. If I can do that, if I can flip A.J. Brown, then I am definitely selling him potentially here. The next one is number 21, depending on the various sources, Terry McLaurin. I love Terry McLaurin. I loved him since he was at Ohio State. Last year was his best year. He finished 14th. He had some weird quarterback play. He seemed to connect well with Heineke, and I don't think Heineke will be the starter next year. Their quarterback situation was a complete disaster. He would finish 77 for 11, 19, and 5. The problem is he doesn't score touchdowns. You're going to have the emergence of Jahan Dotson, which I think, in my opinion, it's always a crutch argument. Does it help take coverage away? Does it add coverage? Or does it take targets away? I think Jahan Dotson is a legitimate problem for Terry McLaurin. It's my opinion, and it's just what I think. Plus, with the combination of that being a poor offense, I am in the mode where I'm like, okay, if you can sell Terry McLaurin for a top 20, flip him for a different wide receiver. Terry McLaurin's already 27 years old. So, he is a wide receiver he came into the league a little bit older. He's not the young DJ Moore type, or he's not a 24, 25-year-old wide receiver. I am trying to either take him, flip him for a little bit younger wide receiver at this point, or even a draft pick. If I can trade him for a Jordan Addison or something along those lines, that'd be a great option. I know Jordan Addison not drafted yet, but this is something in the future. Or if I can take Terry McLaurin plus something and move up into that next category of some of the wide receivers we talked about. It's going to cost you a little bit to get into that. Even the Garrett Wilson category, who's 10th. I mean, you're talking about the 10, 11, 12 range. You're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown and Higgins and stuff. It might cost you a little bit more, but I'm willing to take that cost, shave about 3, 4, 5 years off the age, basically, because that's what you're getting when you're getting that 22, 23 type of wide receiver. Then I am definitely doing that. And there's even other wide receivers I like too. So I'm okay taking McLaurin plus to get to a Drake London or a Chris Olave or even a Jameson Williams, who I really like. Jameson Williams, I'm okay with. That's more of a closer to an equal trade, but again, something to think about. The next one are running backs. Running backs that are 27 or older, this is the year to sell. I mean, this last year was the year to sell. I told you that I felt a lot of these running backs were falling off the cliff, and the cliff is very near. And so what am I selling for? Because honestly, we want to make sure that we're selling for something that you can actually get. And for a majority of these running backs, you're taking a second. Anybody that's past the rank of 12, 13, you're taking a second for him. We'll talk about those. Some other players you can get a first for Austin Eckler, 7th ranked running back. He is a sell. He's 27 years old. Some of these running backs are older than 27, by the way. So he's 7th ranked. But I am trying to sell Austin Eckler. He comes back off of back-to-back top 2 running back finishes. And I am trying to, again, sell if I possibly can. Because 7th is going to be the highest he's going to be ranked in probably the rest of his career. Number 11, Nick Chubb. Another sell. Again, he's probably where you can get a first for him, especially for a team that looks and goes, I can get 2 years out of Nick Chubb. You can get yourself a first for Nick Chubb. Number 12, Joe Mixon. Not 27, he's 26, but I'm putting him in the category because he has some of the same tread as like Dalvin Cook and stuff, same draft class. And so Joe Mixon is another sell that I'm seeing. I could see Cincinnati even draft a running back. And so Joe Mixon, 26, you could get a first for Joe Mixon. Number 15, Dalvin Cook. There are teams that will trade you a first for Dalvin Cook potentially. And I am taking a late first. I'm taking an early second for Dalvin Cook. I am seeing the writing on the wall. I'm seeing the end near. He just started to slow down, and I'm a Vikings fan, so I get to see that every single play, and he just did not have that speed and burst. And he was healthy the entire season too, and usually you get that 2-3 game miss from one of his shoulders. Number 16, Derrick Henry. Should have already been sold, but Derrick Henry is getting closer to 30 as we speak, and so he needs to go. He's number 16. He needs to go. He's not a top 16 running back. Let's be honest. He's not even a top 25 running back. I understand the difference maker that he could potentially be, but you're talking about he might have one season left of any production, and then it might be off the cliff. Because, you could see that he was slowing down. He does not look like the same Derrick Henry he did 2 years ago. Even when he was 27, you got to sell. Number 19, Alvin Kamara, got to sell. Like, he just not the production that you want. He was an elite running back, a unicorn among being a top 10 running back for the last 6 years. Got to go. Number 20, Aaron Jones. Gotta go. A.J. Dillon will probably be more into this offense. This team could be in a rebuild. Who knows if even Aaron Jones is on? I don't know the contract situation. Who knows if he's even on the Green Bay Packers next year? And if Aaron Rodgers is not on that team, he is going to take a hit. All of these running backs have to go. If you can get a first, I would honestly even just email the league, like, hey, especially for like Cook, Henry, Kamara, Jones, a first takes him. Just throw out that. If you can't get that, okay, highest pick in the second takes him. Because really, you got to get these players off the roster. I'm rather having I want to take a shot at Zach Evans. I want to take a shot at some of these young running backs. I know that that's a risk, but I want to do that versus watch my investment literally go into Todd Gurley, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, any of the running backs that are at this usual point. They just all of a sudden go off a cliff, and their value is garbage. Quarterbacks, Trey Lance is 13th ranked overall. I'm going to ask the simple question to you. Do you think he will be the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers next year? And if you can say with 100% confidence, he deserves to be ranked 13th. I cannot. I don't know if it's going to be Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy might even bring him to the dang Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo, we have no idea. And we don't know if Trey Lance can, when he gets onto the field, if he's going to be a successful quarterback. I honestly could see him being a really, I don't know, the Jordan Love situation. He's just a backup at this point until he gets A, healthy, and B, can show enough upside right now. But at 13th, I can't put him up at 13. I definitely cannot put him up that high. Like, he's just, there's too many quarterbacks that I like into that 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 range, even 20 range, that are kind of the same as Trey Lance. And the next one is 19, Derek Carr. Derek Carr, has he lost it? Is he Baker Mayfield, but just 31 years old? I think that Derek Carr needs to be sold. I know that there's opportunity, and this may not be the exact opportunity. Maybe he needs to go to a different team. We need to see what that team does. If he goes to Green Bay, hey. If he goes to somebody else, some other great team or good team, and you go, okay, maybe there is some pieces that would fit for him, but we'll see. Maybe he goes to one of the bad teams of like Carolina. Carolina probably can't afford it because they've had to pay $1 million quarterbacks, but Atlanta or something like that. But again, these situations are not going to be the greatest. I mean, he had Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, he had Josh Jacobs, he had the weapons around himself, Hunter Renfrow, and he still just was a middle road quarterback. I feel like that's your upside. And at 19, I don't want that. I want something a little bit higher upside. Tight ends here. Number 8 in David Njoku. I don't understand. He's 26 years old, but 26 years old. He was 8th ranked though. I don't get it. I get that he was 13th in standard, 10th in PPR. Deshaun Watson is the quarterback there, but he has not looked good. Amari Cooper's still there. They got to add another weapon, you think, in the draft, potentially with a wide receiver. I just don't think that Njoku is going to be he doesn't have the upside. His good games are like tight end 5, and then his bad games are like he's just non-existent. I do not like him put in the category of like Pat Freiermuth, who's a lot better and a lot younger. I know Njoku came in as a very athletic young tight end, but I think people are just way too hyped up on his production that he had, and still he was not a top. I mean, he was 10th in PPR. So really, you're buying an 8th ranked tight end that has not gotten to 8th ranked, not even in one season, and you're projecting that at his 27 years of old season. I'm just seeing Gesicki all over again. Mike Gesicki had some times where it's like, man, if you can put it all together, and he just never has. And then, so I would rather stay away from Njoku. And this is kind of a half sell. George Kittle, 29 years old. When I talked about everyone that needed to sell Darren Waller, and I hope you did sell Darren Waller. I hope you listened to that because his value has plummeted. He used to be a top 4 tight end, 4 or 5 tight end automatically, and now not even close. Now he's getting to low end tight end 1 range. So you lost a good 5-6 value points there. And so George Kittle, 29, he's 4th. But who's 5th? Who's 5th? It's TJ Hawkinson. And so I would rather have Hawkinson. I would easily rather have him. Hawkinson, much younger. I understand. Kittle, he was hurt, had an amazing last 4 games. 1, 12, 2. We don't know who the starting quarterback is. If it's Trey Lance, this puts a huge hurt on George Kittle. So it's almost like hedging your bet if Trey Lance is the starter. But if it's Brock Purdy, still, I am not. Debo's been hurt. It's just like everyone on the roster seems to be hurt. We'll see if George Kittle can actually produce at this level, being 30 next year. But he was 2nd in standard, 3rd in PPR. I think you're looking at close. I don't see Kittle, with his injury history, I don't see him being the Travis Kelce playing into his 33-year-old season. That's my personal opinion. Totally could be wrong. So I hope you enjoyed the video of the Dynasty sells. Let me know who your sell is below. I want to hear from you. All right, peace out.